All right, guys, I just wanted to give everyone a quick snapshot on where we stand with college football as we enter week 2, going through the full 131 FBS teams. I think I'm going to do this every week. Unfortunately, the trend thing right here where it says, which teams moved up, which teams moved down, I guess it's been updated and it doesn't show up. So that's annoying. I'm probably going to have to do this at the beginning of every week so I can see which team moved up 20 spots. It's just easier to detect. But either way, we're just going to talk about kind of the updated rankings. These are updated after week 0, after week 1. Where do we stand? Obviously, the biggest thing here, you've got Alabama sitting at number 1, about 2 points ahead of Georgia. Georgia did move past Ohio State after crushing Oregon. And of course, with these rankings, a lot of analytics, a lot of ball control. Georgia completely in control of that game, scoring on all 7 drives. That dominant performance is going to look really good in terms of analytics, FPI, ball control, things like that. So they move ahead of Ohio State, even though Ohio State beat the number 6 team in the country according to FBI. That's right. Notre Dame doesn't fall very far at all because, when it comes to analytical rankings, if you're facing the so-called number 2 or number 3 team in the nation and you lose by 11 points, they're really not going to ding you that much. So Notre Dame is sitting at number 6, Michigan at number 5, Clemson is still at 4. Maybe some people surprised by this gap. Clemson 4 points ahead of Michigan. A lot of people have Michigan in front of Clemson due to, I guess, the whole thing is kind of weird. Michigan beats Colorado State and suddenly I think it's due to more of Clemson's offense looking broken. Personally, you could put either one at 4 and 5. Texas at number 7. So this is where it starts to get weird. And this is where it kind of gets screwy. Because Alabama is 20.5-point favorites on the road at the so-called number 7 team, Texas, who's not even ranked. So this whole thing with FBI having them at number 7, a lot of it is due to recruiting. I don't agree with it. I would put Texas probably at 22 or 23. I think Texas is going to get crushed by Alabama, which in turn will bump Alabama even up more, depending on how dominant they are against Texas. Baylor at number 8, they've got a massive game at BYU. I'm very confident BYU is going to win that game. Miami at number 9, not surprising. How about Tennessee at number 10? Come on, folks. Tennessee at number 10. Listen, they're a fun little university. But has Tennessee really been recruiting that well enough? What is the algorithm that spits out numbers and tells us because Tennessee beat Ball State by 50 or whatever, they're the number 10 team in the country? I don't understand that. Oklahoma at number 11, LSU at number 12. So, guys, this is the thing with FPI. LSU losing to Florida State, and somehow they're still ranked 12 because the AI and the algorithm views that loss to Florida State as a very close loss, kind of a fluke loss. I don't know the exact total yardage if LSU outgained Florida State, but that gets factored into it. Let's say LSU outgains Florida State by 100 yards and they lose. The AI recognizes that, at least in some degree, as kind of a flukish loss. Mississippi State, that is just unbelievable that Mississippi State is ranked 13th. I have no words to describe that. We got to come on, guys. USC sitting at number 14. That's fine. You've got Michigan State at 15. Penn State at number 16. Of course, Penn State still not inside the top 25. Ole Miss at 17. I think Ole Miss is a little bit overrated. Jackson Dart, horrible performance. Maybe he bounces back against Central Arkansas, but wow, was that underwhelming. We've got Wisconsin at number 18. They faced an FCS team. Utah drops down to 19. Not surprising. I think Utah's better than 19, certainly. But it is what it is. I mean, Florida is still below Utah. That doesn't surprise me in these rankings. Kentucky at number 20, that's fine. A&M at 21. So A&M got really dinged for their bad performance against Sam Houston. Just really lackluster. They had that massive delay, and then they came out and tried running up the score in the second half. A&M needs a legitimate quarterback. Oklahoma State at 22. I've got no issues. SMU coming in at 23. Wow. Florida at 24. Yeah, the reason Florida's not higher is due to the analytical data. If you watch that Utah-Florida game, extremely even numbers. Now, if Florida would have came out and won 30-6 and outgained Utah by like 200 yards, Florida would shoot up. The numbers are so even, and Florida was at home. So that gets factored in. And this is a more level look at really how good Florida is at 24. Of course, the AP poll does the whole overreaction. Oh, we got to move Florida in front of Utah, so they've got to shoot up 2 spots away from being a top 10 team. Pittsburgh at 25, that's fine. Arkansas at 26, I'm sure people will be mad at that because Arkansas did beat Cincinnati. Auburn at 27, so they must have recalibrated their overall rankings or something because Auburn in the initial preseason was ranked as the 10th best team. It was the most ridiculous FBI ranking, and now they're at 27 even though they won their week 1 game easily. BYU at 28, that's disrespectful. TCU at 29. TCU could be good this year. We'll see. UCF at 30, I've got respect for them. Cincinnati at 31, certainly I like Cincinnati. FSU, they're 2-0. They are 2-0. I've been critical of their roster. I don't think it's very talented, but we will see how they finish. I think they've got 7-5 written all over them. Minnesota at, what is Minnesota? 33, that's fine. Iowa State, how about Iowa State in front of Iowa? Oh, where is Iowa at? But Iowa State, I'm just going to kind of roll through these. UCLA at 35. I like UCLA a lot. I mean, they beat Bowling Green, whatever. There is North Carolina, Texas Tech. Texas Tech above Houston. I think Houston is underrated in these. Oregon drops all the way down to 44. Wow. That when you get dominated that badly, you're going to get crushed. Washington is still up at 40. Yeah, Washington has a huge non-conference. UAB. Guys, UAB in this conference, watch out. They might go undefeated. I'd have to look at their schedule. There's Iowa sitting at 55. When you have that bad of an offense, the analytics will kill you for it. Illinois. Why is Illinois? Guys, nothing against Illinois. Illinois should not be inside the top 80. They're 57. It's just you see these things. Boise State after that tough loss. Wait, there's Oregon State. Oregon State at 51. Oregon State's no joke. Louisville, I love Air Force. Louisville, so disappointing week 1 in the Carrier Dome, laying an egg. Air Force, underrated. They can win the Mountain West. Stanford, Stanford won week 1. Virginia, I think Virginia's very underrated. I know they have a horrible defense. East Carolina where is NC State? I should probably, there's Kansas State. I like NC State's at 36. Yeesh. Wake Forest at 50. Coastal Carolina. Remember, Coastal Carolina, their best season ever was during a global pandemic. No, I like Coastal Carolina. Indiana, folks. Indiana at 68. Are you freaking kidding me? Come on. Duke, that's a little bit. There's Arkansas State. So Arkansas State must have moved way up because I was looking at Ohio State's opponents, before the season. Arkansas State was like ranked 112th. They beat Grambling 52-3. And guys, if you aren't familiar with Arkansas State, they have James Blackman, the Florida State transfer QB, and Brian Snead, who was a 4-star top 100 running back that transferred from Ohio State. So a very interesting team, and they're actually rated better than Toledo, the team that Ohio State is facing in week 3. They're rated better than Duke. So apparently, this is saying Ohio State would be 45-point favorites against Duke. There's Vanderbilt. So I think, Kansas might actually still be the worst Power 5 team. No, Colorado. That's right, Colorado, guys. There is a stat that Colorado is not favored in any remaining games. Now, they're probably going to win one. I don't think they're going to go winless, but it's really bad. There's Western Michigan with that horrible pansy logo. Middle Tennessee. You know what? Where's Colorado State? Do we see Colorado? I'm not going to sit here and look for teams, but we'll just go. What I do love looking at is Florida International. So what I love looking at is the race for the worst team in FBS, and we got a battle. And so Hawaii, who faces Michigan this week, they're 51-point underdogs. They are currently the worst team in FBS. New Mexico State is always going to be there. I got to be honest with you guys. I think Florida International is horrific. They're so bad. Florida International probably should have lost to Bryant. They ended up winning. They're 1-0. They won in overtime against Bryant, an FCS school. Akron beat an FCS school in overtime as well. These teams are horrible. UMass is always going to be... I'm surprised Rice is that low. Rice faced USC. Apparently, USC had 3 pick sixes. I didn't watch that game. It was the Pac-12 network, but people were yeah, they had 3 pick sixes. How do you get 3 pick sixes in one game? They won 66-14 against Rice. And so right now I would say, yeah, Hawaii is probably the worst team at this point. UConn is actually improved. UConn is actually moving up. Normally we're used to seeing them as one of the worst teams. San Jose State, my God. So this is Michigan's non-conference schedule. So Michigan's non-conference schedule, they face the 115th ranked team. Then they face the 131 ranked team. Then they face not UMass, then they face the 122nd ranked team. It's literally, this is one of the worst things I've seen in my life. But those are the rankings. So next week, hopefully when I do it, they'll have the trend so I can see the exact teams that moved up significantly and moved down rather than just me trying to remember it. And then all this other stuff, they have the win out percent chance. That stuff is kind of useless to me. You're going to tell me, Alabama has a 22% chance to win out. What am I going to do with that information? I mean, Alabama has a 100% chance to go to the bowl game. A bowl game. Shocker. I just think that information is kind of dumb. Ohio State has a 35% chance to win out. I guess it does give you a good snapshot of how hard the schedules are. Ohio State, 35% chance. I wonder if there's any group of 5 teams that have a big chance. 2.1%. Air Force has a 2% chance to win out. Army has a 1.5% chance to win out. And that's that. So, yeah, guys, those are just the overall updated rankings. You've got Oregon falling like a rock. You've got NC State falling like a rock. How about Texas A&M sitting at 21? Now, Texas A&M, if they blow out Appalachian State, look at how bunched up these teams are. They're at 11.9. Texas A&M very easily could be 10th next week because these teams are really bunched up, and then it kind of filters out, and you see kind of the gaps with the top 3, and then Clemson is still 4 points above Michigan. A lot of that is due to preseason. These rankings, how they're calculated in the preseason, a lot of it is analytics. So Clemson recruits better than Michigan. They're going to be ranked higher. They've had more recent sustained success, legitimate. I mean, Michigan had a better season last year, but in terms of the last 4 or 5 years. And then Notre Dame still very respectable, sitting at number 6 right now. Texas, I don't agree with that ranking at all. Tennessee, I don't know what they're thinking. Mississippi State, folks, what are we doing? But Mississippi State in front of Utah. Right, Mississippi State in front of USC. Very, very smart. But guys, that's just, you can also look at the efficiencies. Actually, I do want to look at this. Let me just look. I want to look at the offensive efficiency. Who had the best offense? Georgia. So yes, I do believe Georgia scored 7 touchdowns on 7 drives, and they've got an efficiency of 9.8 right now. Texas Tech throttled someone. Air Force throttled someone. USC against Rice. Ohio State is still there. That's crazy. Ohio State is 14th in efficiency. And they're 29th in well, I guess when you're facing Alabama is... Oh, BYU is first in defensive efficiency? I would have thought Alabama would have been. They shut out Utah State. But that is crazy. Ohio State is 14th. I want to see who's last. It's got to be Iowa. Iowa is second last. Middle Tennessee State had a worse offensive performance than Iowa. Iowa, 130th versus 8th in defense. Hilarious. South Florida probably had the worst performance of the weekend. 129th on offense, 127th on defense. Temple was facing Duke. Oh my God. Temple is just horrible. And there's some of the other teams. So guys, that's just the overall efficiencies, things like that. And then the resume, you're not going to really see much here. Strength of record, Ohio State is second because they faced... FSU is first because they're 2-0. Ohio State is second because they faced Notre Dame. That's why. And then just the strength of schedule and things like that. So guys, that is going to do it for this video. Something I'll look at probably once a week. Just kind of the overall analytics of the sport. But make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.